Alright guys, welcome to King of the Pit. Before we get started, please hit that like and subscribe button. I really appreciate your support. Alright, we're gonna head on over to the City of Angels, Los Angeles, California. I got a band that's been together since 2022. These guys have been slamming down the punk scene down there. Their name is Days in Ruin, and they're my next featured guest today on King of the Pit. Let's go, baby!
Alright, I am Salty from Days in Ruin, current vocalist for the band, the only original and founder of the band itself back in 2022 out here in Whittier, California. So we have an interview with King of the Pit. Let's crack open this beer. Let's get in on it. Alright, so first question being asked is, tell the world who you are and what you represent. Well, we are a raw punk band. A lot of people like to add different names or put us into a specific genre. Like people will say punk or metal or thrash or melodic punk or melodic thrash or this and that. We like to stick with the term just raw punk. You know, and I know that like even that term has its own specific genre, but even then, like we use raw as in raw emotion because we don't like to be tied down to a certain genre. I know, you know, the guys who I have in the band, they're more like towards metal, as to where like I'm more towards like punk or D-beat or, you know, even thrash, which is why like, you know, we are more cohesive and stuff. So we like to go with the umbrella term of raw punk. It's just it just sounds right, you know, and that's pretty much what we are. And we create music based on feeling and not based on like, you know, we're confined or stuck to one thing in general.
All right, let's do it.
The second part to that question was, what do we represent? I mean, to start off, we represent ourselves, and we put our hearts out and what we produce and what we put out, or like, you know, our live acts and our live shows, and we represent to be genuine and not fake, you know, not a copy or like anything that, you know, it's just repeated, or you know, we just try to be just genuine, you know, like in the end. But we also do represent, like, we're not always, you know, even though we are mostly like punk and metal, we can get political sometimes, you know, that there are some things that we feel like should be put out there. But for the most part, we really want to represent those people who are having like the worst time of their lives, who just getting hit left and right. They're, you know, they can't catch a fucking break. Life is breaking them down. They have nowhere to turn. Nobody's hearing them. Nobody cares. And everybody just says, stop being a fucking pussy and do what you have to do. That shit ain't right. I feel like, you know, like you know, to give somebody a hug or to hear them out, or, you know, to do the right thing sometimes, you know, that goes a long way. God knows I've been on that end so many times, and, you know, even currently now, you know, like I could be down in the dumps, and one thing that really helps me is, you know, like somebody wants to hear me out, or somebody that says, you know what, you're not a fucking complete piece of shit, you know, or shit like that. Like we aim to kind of help fight the battle that really goes unsaid, you know, the battle in your fucking head, you know, and people suffer in silence, you know, and I don't think that's right, you know, like, and that's why, you know, it like people are like bombs, you know, like they're bound to set off, you know, they're fine 1 minute, and next minute, like so much is built up to where, you know, they just fucking explode, and they lash out, and they do something stupid, and then again they get fucked yet again, you know, where everybody's pointing the fucking finger saying you're the asshole, you're the problem, and fuck you. You know, and it just makes people want to kill themselves, makes people want to say, like, you know, if people are going to treat me this way, maybe I'm just better off just being dead, which is not good. We don't want that. And I personally myself chose to create this band based upon that. You know, like again, like we have so many punk bands, especially in the punk community, fighting the injustices and you know, the political thing. And I personally feel like, you know, for the most part, they have that covered. They have that covered. They have enough, you know, guns. They have enough fucking, you know, like bodies to battle that. Why can't we battle the other portion that's not being talked about? I don't know. That's just my take on it. And that's where, you know, I more lead on it, on, especially like vocal wise and what I'm, you know, saying and what I'm singing and stuff like that. And even outside the band itself, I do the utmost I can to try to console people, you know. Like I always say, you know, like my door is always open, you know. You need something to say, you need something to get off your chest. It doesn't even matter if I even know you, you know. Like if you have nowhere to go, talk to us, you know. Like, and I've made a lot of friendships doing that way, and a lot of decent people who just, you know, they're not bad people, they just do bad shit because nobody's listening to them, or, you know, they're going fucking crazy. You know, that's just kind of what we represent, especially in out here in the LA scene. You know, it's LA just in general, you know, it's hard, you know, it's hard living, everything's so expensive, etc., like things that you guys don't already know. But even then, like, I always like to say, you know, a hug makes a fucking difference. You know, just all I gotta say about that. So the next question is, how long have you guys been together? Well, funny story. So this band was started around 2022, I think maybe early, somewhere around there. It's been a long time. I started with a coworker of mine. We were jamming out in my garage and we were looking to start a band. Well, we did that. We got it off the floor and we started finding a few new people that he knew of. By the way, cheers. He knew of, and then that went on for a little bit. And then a couple guys had to drop out because they were having rough times with like drugs and stuff like that. And they just couldn't do it anymore. And so when I found the vocalist at that time, me and him jumped on to find two other guys, drummer and bassist at the time. And we stuck around for maybe about a year or so until personal differences got in the way. And it did get a little nasty, but they ended up leaving. All of them ended up leaving. I was by myself. I was about to just call it quits. Didn't want to do it anymore. And then something in my head just told me, just keep trying. Just at least one more time. Later on that year, I ended up finding a drummer and a bassist who ended up becoming a vocalist. And then I reconnected with some old friends and we ended up getting a 5-piece together. And that went on for, about another year and a half or so. And then again, another clash of egos or whatever it was, stress, or, we just eventually just couldn't, work together anymore. And they pretty much all left. After that, we were in the midst of bringing in a new guitarist. His name's Manuel, who's in the the set right now. As everybody was leaving, he's saying like, "Damn, dude, that sucks, man. We were just getting everything going, and like, right when I come in, just what are the fucking odds?" And I was like, "Yeah, dude, I'm so sorry, man. Like, I don't know, like, I'm just gonna have to let you know. Like, honestly, I just want to quit." And he was just so adamant, like, "No, like, if you want to keep it going, I got your fucking back, dude. I got your back. We'll keep this going and we'll do what we gotta do." I told him like, "Damn, dude, you know what? I just want to kill this. I hate the stress. Like, it sucks being a band. Sometimes I love music, but it's harder working with people." So he goes on saying that, "Fuck it, man, let's do it." And he just fucking, just riling me on. And I was like, "All right, I'll think about it." So I thought about it and I was like, "All right, let's do it." I started going into my contacts, doing everything we could. And, like with the grace of luck, I ended up getting a bass player. I ended up getting one of my brothers back. I ended up, like, I had to go through a few band members in between, but in the end, like our official set, like I got my brother back on guitar. His name's Dirty. I got him back on guitar. He was one of the previous members who had left, and luckily he came back. I got one of my good friends, Chris, back on bass. I got this random guy. His name's Roheen. Just became like he's a brother now. He's part of the family now. I got him so easily and so randomly. It's absurd. It's absurd. And then I used to play guitar and vocals. Couldn't find a good vocalist or like a consistent one or someone who didn't have a lot of problems or like scheduling issues and stuff. So I had to take over the role. And so I gave over the roles to Dirty and Manuel with Chris on bass. And now we have our brother Roheen, who's a lot older, a lot younger. He's, I think like 22, gonna be 23. He's got the fire. He's got, he's got just the hungriness of it and the willingness to learn. I'm really happy that Manuel did push me to go this far to find these people, because I feel like I found the perfect set of people, the perfect set to where there's no arguments, there's no differences. We all listen, we all fucking, console one another every time we go to a show or practice, rehearsals, recording. Like, it's not even a fucking issue. Like, it's all like nothing about getting work done. and it's about nothing but laughs and having fun. Like, nobody's taking everything too serious. We take it serious, but we also know the importance of having fun. And that's what we do. We have fun. Even if we're not perfect at set, you know what I mean? Like, even if like we fuck up a little bit, as long as we had fun, dude, that's really what it comes down to. And the way, like, I learned to live with that, because I used to be really bad at trying to be perfect, trying to control everything. Once you let that go, you're on top of the world with your brothers, you know? So the next question is a little bit of a long one. It says, metal or specific genre has been a big part of the music scene for a long time. What makes your guys unique or different? I think for myself, and I think for a lot of us, I think it's more like the metal and thrash and the harder, stronger, faster, especially when it comes to like D-beat, crust, raw punk, you know, anarcho and noise and stuff like that. Like a lot of like the harder beats and the harder strums, or the down tuning, and you know, the really crashing of the drums. You know, that's been a big part of our influences. What makes us unique? I think there's not really much that makes us too unique. I think the one thing that really does is just a genuinism of just to be genuine, we'll say. You know, like the way we're genuine, you know, we don't talk about anything we don't really know. We make music based upon what we feel and not trying to please anybody besides ourselves in general. And people like us, cool. I think our sheer love for what we do, and how far we could try to like spread our message. I mean, again, like, you know, the whole thing about loving, you know, your brothers and sisters, loving one another, spreading the love instead of fucking hate. People talk to us all the time, like, especially out of our shows, you know, like, we're not, you know, stuck up, we're not fucking dicks about it. Like, fucking come in, you know, if you're not an asshole, you're not a dickhead, fucking come in, we'll welcome you with open arms, you know. Our sound in general, though, that's the part I really do feel like that sets us apart from a lot of other bands, is that we don't like stick in one sound. Like, if we were to make like a full album, it wouldn't sound like one song put on repeat. It would sound like a bunch of different songs, like how an album should be, at least according to me, or at least according to us. You know, we got a lot of things to give, I think, in the music scene. And, you know, whether we're heard around the world or even in one city, oh well, we're just going to continue to keep doing what we do as long as we can fucking do it. And again, like we're genuine people. We're all hard workers, and we're all, you know, people who just try to survive and support our families and do this, you know, to keep us from exploding. It's our escape, you know what I mean? It's our escape, you know. If we can take this to a whole new level, more than certain we will. If not, then, you know, let's just have fucking fun and definitely like let the fun times roll. Okay, so the next question is, what's the scene like in your area, pros and cons? Well, LA does it fucking like pretty big, pretty hard. Shit, it's just nothing but fucking heart pumping all over the place, you know. The scene in general, even just like the scene that we play, or even like different scenes like the ska scene, the punk scene, the metal scene, the dark wave scene, goth scene, like it's all over the place, and LA just is, it's pretty fucking awesome. The pros is that there's so many opportunities, you know what I mean? There's so many venues and places to play, and not even just venues. It could be a fucking backyard, or it could be a generator gig. It could be underneath a bridge. It could be wherever your imagination would you know, like would take you, you know. In my city, or in my scene, or where I'm at, Dead City Punks made their, you know, their dreams come true just by taking a fucking generator, a bunch of friends, and a bunch of equipment. And they did it hard. Fucking, I commend them for that shit. You know, they're definitely a really big example, because again, they're genuine, they're hard. They fucking made a thought come into reality. That's, you know, I wish I would have done that, you know. But regardless, I commend them, and they're great. Now, this is the hard part. And I know I'm gonna get a lot of shit for this, and I don't give a fuck, because I'm a guy, again, who's genuine, and I like to say it how it is. The cons is that, you know, everybody is just kind of just gatekeeping. Like, everybody's just like, you know, like, what bugs me is that, like, you have a show of like 5, 6, 7 different fucking bands, but it's all the same people in different rotations playing that same show, and they'll repeat that same cycle over and over and over, and never give anybody another chance, you know, or somebody a fucking chance, you know. And that kind of bugs me. Like, I get it. It's kind of always just been like that. It's just who you know. It's not how good you are, it's who you know. That's just kind of how the music scene's always been. It's just something that bugs me. Another con is just like the backstabbing, you know, the shit talking, especially amongst like the young kids now. It's like, me being older, like with my band and stuff, like we be playing some backyard shows where kids are like 16, 17, 15, 14, whatever. And like, I'm the guy who's mostly on, you know, social media and stuff, and I see these kids fucking like animals, backstabbing each other, fucking talking shit about one another, and nobody could do something. There's an older gentleman who's fucking looking in a direction. He's not even doing anything, but they capture him on camera. Oh, he's being a pedophile. He's fucking looking at younger women, blah, 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 this and this and this. And like, being at these backyard shows, I started noticing this shit. So I would tell my band that, you know what? We're obviously older than these fucking kids, you know what I mean? If somebody comes up to and fucking asks for a fucking beer, we need to see some fucking ID. I ain't fucking going to jail for this, and I'm not having my reputation fucked up for fucking something stupid. 2, all of us take our equipment, pack it in one corner. We're right here in one corner. We stay together. If you got to go take a piss, you want to enjoy a band, you take a buddy with you. You have the buddies, you have the fucking buddy system, you know, so you have a fucking witness, you know what I mean? And, you know, like, that just wasn't fucking fun, dude. So, and I'm at that age where, like, I don't, like, fucking, like, the young kids, like, I can't relate to them, you know, like, I don't know what they're talking about. The way they are is like the way I used to be, which was a fucking dumbass. So eventually, like, we mostly like wanted to surround ourselves with like people our age at the bars, at the venues, shit like that. Every now and then, maybe we'll do a backyard, but it's gonna be very fucking rare. I mean, again, like the bars and venues is where we could be free. We can do whatever we want, you know, like, you know, we don't have to be watching out for being called a fucking pedophile for any fucking reason, you know, and I'm not trying to fucking, you know, denounce any people who are fucking weirdos, because those motherfuckers deserve to get fucked up. I don't play that fucking game. But I mean, like, I just don't want to put myself in that situation, you know. So that's definitely a fucking con. Yeah, like I think that's, as far as I could think of right now, that's pretty much like the cons and stuff like that, you know. So the next question would be, tell us about new music. Well, we released a new EP not too long ago. I think it was a couple months ago. We released a new EP. We put it on Spotify. We put it on pretty much every platform. It's on there to stream. Coming up, we actually just went on hiatus a little bit, just to kind of like come back in the jam spot or go back in the studio and stuff like that, and within ourselves make ourselves tighter, get stuff down, maybe get a couple new tracks in, maybe a couple new singles, because I think like we want to be more consistent, dropping more singles rather than EPs or LPs. Because at that point we would be actually more consistent, dropping like just more content instead of like making people wait so long, And then with new music comes new lineups, like new set lists. So we want to like create new set lists. Definitely something that's more according to what we're playing or where we're playing or who we're playing with. Because we do have songs that are like a lot different, more groovy to more hard to more this to more that. So we want to like definitely create like a set list like A, B, and C, and then according to the show itself, we will go and pick the set list more according to how we're feeling or what the vibe is. We'll say. Next question is that where can people find your music? Again, like it's on all streaming platforms. We constantly drop a lot of our live footage on YouTube. A lot of our live footage and stuff like that definitely could be on Instagram. Like you could find our Instagram, TikTok. Other than that, it's mostly on every streaming platform for the actual recorded stuff. But anything live and stuff like that, it's going to be YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. Yeah. Next question is going to be, what is next for 2026? Right now, again, like I said, we're going to be on a small hiatus to, kind of like work within ourselves. And from there, we have a couple shows lined up. We have one specifically at the Dollhead in Anaheim. That's going to be for September. We were invited in August to be out there in Fresno to go play a show. Maybe somewhere later at like towards the end of the year, we were also invited. It hasn't been set in stone, and we still need more information to go do a mini tour out there in Texas with a great band from out there called Gas Bath, or the guy's new band called Pretas. And then once we come back from hiatus, everything's going to be kind of like more up in the air. We'll be booking more shows. Like once we refine ourselves and get to where like we really want to be, we'll definitely be going fucking ham on shows and everything we can. We actually just also did a live set for this studio called Birdcage Studios. We did a live set of the new EP, which should be coming out sometime soon. So that's also something to look forward to. I'm waiting to see that myself. Last and final question: what would you like people to know? Personally, myself, I would like people to know that you're enough. Like you should give yourself a pat in the back every once in a while. It's not worth to beat yourself up 24/7. I mean, fuck, if the whole world is beating you up and then you're beating yourself up, like what love is there for you? What side are you on? You're supposed to be on your fucking side. You're supposed to love yourself, Give yourself a break every once in a while. Now, if you keep fucking up, then that's something that, you really need to take control of. But again, never be afraid to seek help. Never be afraid to say something. The stigma of you're weak just because like you need help, that's bullshit. That's old school fucking mentality. And look how fucked up those people are, you know? Like I think especially in the weirdest and craziest times that we're living in, I think we need to break away from those fucking chains. And we need to do whatever you feel is correct. If you want to hold it in, then you hold it in. But if you need to talk to somebody, then do it. Do it without shame or the stigma that you're going to be called a fucking pussy. You know, because you're not a fucking pussy, dude. I would rather have, you know, like a buddy of mine cry on my shoulders than for me to fucking have to like carry his casket over there. You know? That's what I want people to know. And again, like, we play this music and stuff like that, but it's not all about us. It's all about you guys too. You know, we're not self-centered. We just love what we do. But again, it's a mutual thing. Like, we appreciate you as much as you appreciate us. And so on. Anyways, so that was the end of the questions. That's the end of the interview. You guys have a good night. Cheers. And hopefully I'll see some of you guys soon.